On January 29, 2026, the Fremont High School anti-ICE protest incident became the lead story on every major Omaha TV station, and it stayed there for days. KMTV Channel 3, WOWT Channel 6, and KETV Channel 7 all ran the same inaccurate narrative. The teenage driver of the red SUV was the villain who deliberately struck a peaceful protester. Anchors and reporters across the three stations repeated the same falsehoods, the same talking points, and the same framing, even though the video evidence right in front of them showed the exact opposite. Mary Nelson on KMTV Channel 3 led with the story as the top headline. Brian Mostray and Aaron Sullivan on WOWT Channel 6 ran multiple segments hammering the same line. Bill Shammert, Julie Cornell, Waverly Monroe, and Melissa Fry on KTV Channel 7 kept the incident front and center with follow-up reports. Other anchors and reporters not listed here joined in the chorus. All three stations treated it as breaking news and the main story of the day, then kept it alive for subsequent days with live updates, edited packages, and on-air commentary. Every one of these so-called journalists had the full video evidence available. Many were reviewing it live or reviewing recorded footage for their reports. They had time to watch the multiple angles, edit the clips, overlay their voices, and see the surrounding circumstances. Yet they all chose to report the same lies. They framed the teenage driver of the red SUV as the criminal who hit a peaceful protester. They ignored the angry mob attacking the SUV. They ignored the student running directly into the roadway under adult supervision and facilitation at a school-sponsored event. They ignored that the driver was simply trying to escape a threatening crowd. This was coordinated collusion between Omaha's local fake news media and the politicians' talking points. The anchors and reporters repeated the same buzzwords and inaccuracies that the politicians had posted. They portrayed the incident as the driver intentionally striking a peaceful protester in the middle of the street. They used words like hit, struck, and assault, even though the video clearly showed the female student protester running from the side of the road straight into the moving vehicle while adults monitored. They claimed it was not school-sponsored, another outright lie, when faculty and staff were present, helping plan the protest, supervising students making signs in classrooms, and facilitating the event on school grounds. The local fake news media in Omaha had every opportunity to report accurately. They are supposed to be professionals who spend their days looking at videos and editing packages. They had the video right in front of their faces. They could see the student running into the car. They could see the mob surrounding and attacking the SUV. They could see the driver trying to separate himself from a dangerous situation. Instead, they chose to lie. They chose to criminalize a teenage driver who was bravely standing up to a crowd supporting illegal aliens, fear enablers, and their organizations. They chose to stigmatize a young man who did the intelligent and correct thing by driving away from an angry mob rather than staying to be attacked further. This is the type of fake local news coverage that defines Omaha's TV stations. These fake news bimbos and bobblehead idiots know exactly what lies to push. They don't need detailed talking points in many cases because they already understand the corporate and media landscape they operate in. They know what narratives to advance and what falsehoods to repeat in order to fit the agenda. In the Fremont case, the lies flowed seamlessly from the politicians' coordinated posts straight into the mouths of Omaha's fake news bimbos and idiots. They all repeated the same inaccuracies, the same one-sided perspective, the same criminalization of the teenage driver. Even though the video evidence showed a completely different story, the coverage was disgusting and despicable. These rotten human beings in the local fake news media tried to turn a young teenager into a convicted criminal. They blew a minor incident between two students out of proportion to push their narrative. They ignored real problems in Nebraska schools that get swept under the rug because they don't fit the agenda. They chose to support the anti-IC protesters, the illegal aliens, and invader organizations rather than reporting the truth or supporting Nebraska youth. They had the video. They watched it. They edited it. They still lied on air. The Omaha fake news media, from CAM TV, WOWT, and KETV, showed exactly what they are: a bunch of brain-dead morons repeating the same falsehoods, the same coordinated lies, the same buzzwords, all while the video evidence stared them in the face. This was not journalism. It was a coordinated effort to criminalize a courageous young man who stood up to a mob of invaders and their supporters. It was a reflection of the nasty, pathetic, despicable attitude that runs through Nebraska's local fake news media machine. They had the evidence. They chose the lie anyway, and they did it on camera for days. The Fremont anti-IC protest incident didn't just report two teenagers in a chaotic moment. It exposed the rot in Omaha's local fake news media. These anchors and reporters had the video. They had the facts. They chose to lie. That choice tells you everything you need to know about the state of so-called journalism in Nebraska. Conclusion: Omaha's local fake news machine, a disgraceful display of coordinated deception. Omaha's major TV stations turned a minor school incident into days of lead story lies, all while the video evidence stared them in the face. Anchors like Mary Nelson, Brian Mostray, Aaron Sullivan, Bill Shammert, Julie Cornell, Waverly Monroe, and Melissa Fry, along with their reporters and producers, had the footage, the time to review it, and every chance to report accurately. Instead, they chose to repeat the same falsehoods. The teenage driver was the criminal who deliberately struck a peaceful protester. They ignored the student running into the roadway under adult supervision, the angry mob attacking the SUV, and the school's role in facilitating the protest. They parroted the politicians' talking points verbatim, criminalized a young man who escaped a dangerous crowd, and pushed a one-sided narrative that served an agenda rather than the truth. This was not journalism. It was coordinated collusion. The anchors, reporters, producers, and management across CAM TV, WOWT, and KETV watched the same video and decided to lie on air. They had the evidence. They chose the lie anyway. That single choice exposes the rot at the heart of Omaha's local fake news media, a bunch of fake news bimbos and bobblehead idiots who know exactly what falsehoods to push, even when the facts are undeniable. Nebraska viewers deserve better than these despicable performers who prioritize narrative over accuracy. The Fremont incident didn't just reveal two teenagers in a chaotic moment. It revealed the ugly, coordinated deception that passes for local news in Omaha. These fake news losers had the video. They lied anyway. That's the story. And that's the indictment.